All right, y'all. We are back. We are live. Getting that intro steady flowing. It's a work in progress, but I hope you all enjoyed it. Thought we go a little bit more artistic with the intro video this week, as we are promoting, empowering, and revolutionizing the way that art is sold. This is Tree Trunk. This is the Tree Trunk Show, and we're live. Not just, not just are we live currently right now on YouTube and on Twitter. And I highly encourage everyone to follow on both YouTube and Twitter if you're not already, at TreeTrunk NFT and at TreeTrunk on YouTube. But also, we are live on the mainnet, y'all. Artists empowered, one-on-one artists now have a new place to go, a new place to call home, a new standard where their collectors and them can receive royalties on chain, on the blockchain. That is exciting stuff. That's why I'm in blockchain in general, is artist empowerment, human empowerment, financial freedom and liberation. That's what we're here for, y'all. And this is happening right now. Shout out to Z Hovac, an incredible one-on-one artist, and fire merch. Still waiting on that Tree Trunk merch. I know you all are as well. It will be here soon, and it will be lit. Let's get into some updates. This is where updates live. This is the domain of updates. So let's get into it. I got some for you all. I got some alpha. I came with the alpha this morning. Let's get into it. First and foremost, I'm obviously going to shout out Segoy. One of the few things I really, really looked forward to at NFT.NYC, wasn't able to make it. Prioritized health. I hope everyone's doing well, surviving the pandemic and all the wildness that exists in the world right now. I don't think I need to go too deep into it. I think we're all paying pretty close attention to the world right now. So my heart is with everyone suffering from anything, but we will get through. We will persevere. Change will happen, and we can be that change. So let's do it, y'all. Let's rise to the occasion. There's never been a time where saving the world was more possible than right now. And if I can show you guys an example, Tree Trunk, helping artists make more money, helping collectors have more incentive to collect art. That's being the change. That's being the change in a niche industry, and that's what we need. Segoy, great example as well. A place for artists to show their work and get their names out there. Shout out to Logic for empowering artists in that way. Shout out to Eric for the assist and assisting in that, to your conduit, to New Friendship Tech, and to Tree Trunk for making it all happen. And let's keep it going. Shout out to Segoy. NFT.NYC was probably a vibe. I tried to avoid the FOMO as much as possible, but the pictures I saw were absolutely insanity. I'm quite jealous. And, fortunately, we get to come together as an NFT community every single day. Every single day, 4:20 p.m. Pacific, we will be live on Twitter, promoting artists, promoting entrepreneurs, really just promoting everyone. But anyone who has something to say, anyone who is creating work, we are here for you. So if you want to come through, if you want to vibe out, if you want to kick it with us and talk about your work, talk about what you're doing right now, an activist or an entrepreneur or an artist who inspires you, if you want to plug a friend, we're here for it. Every single day, Monday through Thursday, 4:20 p.m. Pacific. And on Fridays, we got a special show where we assist in consulting and marketing at 4:20 Eastern. So we're there every day, y'all. Pull up, come enjoy. If you want to listen to a recording, we got some amazing shows that have already come and gone. But I highly encourage you all to come through and check it out. We're gonna have some incredible technology updates and roadmap updates coming as we go. Every week we'll be here in the mornings, 9 a.m. Pacific, my time, noon if you're on the East Coast. And if you're across the world, different time zones for you. So good morning, good evening, and good night for whoever's listening to this right now. We appreciate you. We got Mash endless on the way. Prints are selling, y'all, flying off the shelves. I think I actually might have some art here that I can show you all. Let's see here. This is some of the artwork that's already live on the mainnet, right? We're obviously going to pull up some Soul Curry. I'd be remiss, and I am a Soul Curry piece right now, so I'd be remiss if I didn't show you some of the artists that I really respect and admire and have the access to show you because I've already been showing it because I love it so much. One of my favorite pieces. I mean, come on. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. We were looking at some of these works during the show. We had the amazing privilege of sitting with some of the incredible artists to be able to look at some of these works, to be able to engage with some of these artists has been an absolute pleasure. Obviously, we were talking about my boy Logic. I'm gonna have to coax him into parting ways with that. I love this piece. And I love these artists, and I love any opportunity that provides artists more room to promote, sell, and build their body of work and their collectors. I mean, there's no two ways to look at it. It's an amazing opportunity, and it's an evolution of technology I love. There's a new standard that comes with this EIP 4910. I'm really bullish on it. I think that this is something that's going to help artists for years to come, just by putting royalties and payments on chain. I mean, that's what more are we supposed to ask for? We're talking about decentralization, y'all. Let's decentralize. There is a form. If anybody is wondering, how can I get on TreeTrunk? Is it accessible to you? Yes, it is. It's accessible to all. What you got to do, though, to get on is to fill out a Google form. There's a Google form for artists to fill out. It's on the Twitter page. So at TreeTrunk NFT. Let me pull this up. Hold on one second. Let's pull up the link. I got you guys on a link. And I'm going to throw it out rounded. We're going to take it to a little bit classier, but I got the Twitter somewhere. But for now, I'm going to shout out my boy Diego Barrow. Really great artist on the mainnet on TreeTrunk right now. Richard Jacobs, amazing artist on the mainnet currently. Obviously, we're looking at Soul Curry art. Now I'm going to dox her. Make sure you're checking out Ashita Banerjee on Twitter and on TreeTrunk. I mean, go buy some art, you know? If you couldn't tell, I'm a huge fan of Delec Sessions, so make sure you're checking out her work right now. And this isn't an affront to the artists that I'm not going to say the names of. I just happen to have these artists' names in front of me, so I'm going to shout them out. Logic is the GOAT. Make sure that you're going and checking out his work. He's not just an amazing artist, y'all. He's also an events curator. I heard Sugoi was the highlight of NFT.NYC. That's what I heard. I heard it was the best event there. Carmela Sumantri, amazing artist, incredible human. Make sure you're checking out her work. It's on the mainnet now. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out the one, the only, the unico, TreeTrunk NFT. Make sure you're following. Make sure you're staying up to date. And if you want to be on the site, fill out that Google form, y'all, because you will be on it if you fill it out. I also might have it on the form of a QR code. So give me a second. Let me see if I can do this right here. I think I'm going to be able to. Oh, it's a link. I'm not going to be able to do it. Okay. Next time we will be able to do it. I just don't have the QR code as an actual QR code. I have it just as a link. So I'm going to take it back. I will not be showing the QR code today, but we will show it on the show next week. I'll make it into a shirt or something for you all. But make sure you fill out that Google form. Let me see if I pull up a Twitter link, it won't work as well. But I'm sure it's a pinned tweet that you all can go to. I'm almost 300% sure. That's how sure I am. But I'm actually going to check, because I think it's better that we back things up by facts. And if it's not on the Twitter page, I'm going to make sure that we get there. But I need you all to make sure that you're going and filling out this Google form. Get hip, get involved. We need you to be on the platform. We need you to get some. We need you to get some sales. We need to get your collectors up. This is for artists, y'all. So really encourage everyone to check it out. Go check out the site itself, TreeTrunk.io, if you haven't checked it out yet. Sign that Google form if you're not an artist on there already. And y'all, some of the artwork on here. Let me just pull up a preview. Let's get into it. I'm going to pull up a preview of what was happening in Sugoi so you all can see some of the work. We can even take it to TreeTrunk.io. We might actually, let's just go to the site. Let's just take it there. Let's take it to TreeTrunk. Let's see here. I think I can get you guys there. Oh, I can. Let's make it happen. Let's see if I can share this. I'm going to make it a new window so that you all can be there with me. Let's go. It's not letting me share my screen. We're having technical difficulties, but it's all good. For some reason, it's saying I can share my screen, but it decided afterwards that it did not want me to, and that's okay. And that's okay because we're here, we're vibing. It's the Tree Trunk Show. That's an interesting thing. It says you can share your screen, but as soon as I try to, it decides to change its mind. But here we go. Oh, what's going on, good sir?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. I've just been plugging the Google form. I was going to pull up TreeTrunk itself, but for some reason, my share screen was not feeling me today. How's your morning going so far?
Good. Sorry I'm late for the call. What's up?
Not too much. So we were going over the Google form, talking about getting people whitelisted to get on the platform. Do we have any technology updates or anything from anything insider info related?
Well, I think one of the things we could do is go through Marketplace, and would you like to do that?
I would love to. That's exactly what I was trying to do. Great minds think alike. For some reason, my share screen was not cooperating.
There you go.
And yet it lets you do it. You know
How
what,
special?
folks? Sometimes you gotta have the technological thumb, the green thumb. Will get you there.
Whoops. I think I did the wrong one there. Window. That's what I wanted.
In the meantime, I'm gonna keep plugging the artists. Shout out to Brandon
So
Bell.
yeah, I think that there's some pretty awesome art to go through, and we can. Oops, I got the. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I'll fill out the screen there. Yeah. Oops. So I was just looking at our good friend Logic's piece, in fact, earlier. So that's the OG, and there's Logic has several pieces out. One of the things that I'm noticing is that I think people still have to get used to the idea of not just buying but printing or reprinting, right? So one of the things you want when you own a piece or when you buy it, like here I own this Julie Shapiro or Julie Pacino, friend named Shapiro. That's funny. Julie Pacino is, you can sell, but you don't really want to. I don't want to sell my first gen, right? So what am I going to do? To reprints, right? That's how you do that. And the people that buy one of these should then, there's a little button. Let's see if I can, I'll go back and look at one of my other pieces that I own. I really like the Shapiro.
Yeah.
And I really like Ishita Banerjee.
I was showing that piece, that exact piece, moments before you got online. I love it.
Yeah, and she's sold several. So that's really great. But you'll see. So like number 4, I own that one, and I've made these reprints.
So on a reprint, so just to walk through for people that might want to be a part of like the reprint process. So you reprint your piece, it's on sale. Is there a listing of how many prints can be made from that print when you click on it?
Yeah, you can see this is 3. That was made 3 out of 5 reprints already.
Wow.
It looks like, this one that was bought from me by Crypto Jeweler, in fact. So
I love that.
Yeah, and then Crypto Jeweler did the right thing. See, he made 3 at least of the 5 potential reprints, and somebody bought one of them. So, and he's still got 2 more that he hasn't sold yet. And then and then he's got 2 of the 5 reprints here, so you can see.
And now all of you are also in like a group chat as well.
Well, that's about to be. That's I shouldn't say about. That is one of the next items on the list is getting the chat up. We wanted to get that up for GA. It just didn't happen. Not because we didn't have the technology, but just because we had to do a lot more work on figuring out how to make sure that nobody did any bad things on it.
Right.
Chats are tricky.
Yeah. No, I love that though. So you can I mean, I love it. So if you're going down like multiple chains in the royalty chain, are you able to check, like, let's say that I'm considering getting a second gen, but somebody maybe wants to get a fourth gen. Are they able to see what a fourth gen would look like before that third generation is created? Or would somebody have to buy a third gen before they can see what, you see what I'm saying? Like, are you able to see all the way down to the bottom of a tree, like how many generations exist? Or is it kind of like revealed as it goes?
Yeah, you can see 37 prints in 4 generations. So
Oh, okay. I
you're
see.
allowed to
Yep.
see that, and then there's 13 for sale. So if you wanted to see the ones that were just for sale, you could go to filter, hit apply, and here are the ones that are listed for sale. And you can always tell what generation it is by looking at the number. 4.5.1.5 is a 4th generation print. The 5th from the first 3rd generation, from the 5th 2nd generation,
Oh,
from the
wow.
4th 1st generation, right?
Okay.
So that's how that works. And you can look and you could sort by different different
And so
prices
that,
here.
just for clarity, that 7 that's further down, or that 10, for example, that would be, I can't see if there's a dot, but for the 7, that's the 7th of the first generation.
Correct, and that's for
Okay,
sale
cool.
for 0.35 ETH, right?
Got it. And then you get
And
the 5
depending on
ETH.
who
So
you're
cool.
buying it from, like Plantman or whomever, you may be more attractive to you to buy a print in a print from Beyonce or something, right?
Yeah.
So the value of the print isn't just in its generation level; it could also be in who you're involved with, right? So click back on that, and so yeah, that's how that works. So this is a really good one that's showing all 4 generations and different levels of sales, and yeah, she's getting sales.
Yeah. So cool.
And then once you buy and you start making prints, you can see this is this is my dashboard, and I can kind of keep up with and I've already made my claims, so I can claim my royalties. Um, I can check my MetaMask wallet for how much money I've made, um, and all that's and then I can see all these listings, right? And so that's it. And
I
here's
love
all
that.
the art, man. I mean, it's really great stuff. What's really exciting, I think, here is, I mean, Nyla, very famous artist,
Oh, yeah.
and she's just, I mean, 1 ETH for a Nyla Hayes. I don't want to sound like I'm on what is that TV show where they sell stuff.
Not The Price is Right.
No, HPC or Q up.
Dude, I haven't watched.
It's TV
I,
shows where they sell stuff. I don't want to be like, I've got here's my thing. You should buy this right now in 5 minutes. But no, I'm a huge
infomercial.
fan. I'm a huge fan of Nyla's stuff. So
Same.
she just listed, so that she's got 5 prints, and she's holding. You can see here that 5 are being held in reserve. So that's pretty interesting. So that's and those are, I think. Let's see what she's got. So yeah, you can make, if you buy one, you can make 10 reprints of a Nyla Hayes
Wild.
for
I got a
1
funny
ETH. So
Nyla story. I was actually there when she met Keith Grossman for the first time. I was sitting across the table from them, and I filmed it. And I was asked politely by the president of Time not to release the video.
right on.
Great people.
Yeah,
And Nyla's
Nyla's her family's really nice. And a morning with her dad, working on getting that up, and he's a very, very nice man.
yeah.
And now we like their family. And yeah,
Yeah.
we
Same thing
were going
happened. I
to
was
put Nyla
Yep.
in the beta, and I'm like, you know what, this is Nyla, and she's a minor. I want to keep her as safe as possible, so we waited until the GA.
Love
But
that.
I think
Yeah, no,
people
they're
should be
just a great
buying
family
some
and a great
Nylas.
artist.
I think that one's important. I love I love, yeah. Oh, so yeah, this is interesting. So Logic has done this interesting thing where he's got the first and the 10th up for 80, and then the middle ones are all point 0.8. So that's an interesting strategy. See how that works out. And yeah, each of these allow 8 reprints.
Mm.
So potentially, yeah. Yeah, uh, 8 prints in one generation already. Oh, there is an update that is coming that will also show you all the potential reprints, but and how many generations down it goes.
So would it be possible with a future update or just through the technology that, like, let's say that there's an image of this Freedom rocket, right? But then there's
Mhm.
one where maybe Logic wants to like shift the color of the character or of the rocket. Would
There
that
is
be
an
an
item in
option?
our backlog of project things we can do. There is one item that is exactly like that. Yeah. So, and I think the probably the most obvious first thing is giving the creator tools, almost like Instagram, of changing, yeah, various hues and stuff like that, or looks,
Mm,
to allow for exactly that. What's probably a bridge too far, sadly, is allowing user generated content on top of the artist's work, right? Because you could really see somebody debasing the work in ways that one would find inappropriate,
yeah.
and the artist might find objectionable, and you wouldn't want that.
But
So
they could, for example, and correct me if I'm wrong. Let's say Logic was like, you know what, I'm gonna give my holders derivative rights. He could put that in a description, and then they could do that with their own. They could then re-upload the derivative if they're given the rights by the artist, right? It would just be case by case.
yeah, I think that's
Awesome.
probably a more advanced. I mean, I wouldn't expect seeing that this year. I think it's
Right.
a well from us, but
Yeah.
that's a really good idea for somebody that wants to take the IP 4910 technology, which is open source, and build their own thing. That
Mm.
might be the angle, not to uh, tell people how to compete with us, but I am half of my job is promoting better ways of using Ethereum. That's kind of my job. So we built the IP 4910 draft smart contract standard for and open sourced it and submitted it to the Ethereum Foundation for a reason, and that is that we didn't want to be the only game in town using it,
Mm.
because we work for Joe and for Consensus and for Ethereum. The whole idea is to make things better. So
Right.
yeah, somebody could take that idea, will, and go straight at it and make a bet on that idea. Is to create, use the same contract structure, only add derivative rights. So you'd probably want to hire a guy like Ira Rothkin, like we did, or he's a co-founder of TreeTrunk, and get kind of the legal tech down to say, all right, how would I give derivative rights using this system? And you totally could.
Mm. Yeah.
It was just not the first thing that we did.
Right.
Right. But yeah, you could easily do that. So that's what do you think? I mean, what else? I mean, some of these. I mean, Sabet's piece. Sabet only has one for sale right now. 0.85 ETH. That's Sabet. Buy now.
Amazing. He's a great man.
Yeah, agents are standing by to take your order. Um, so yeah, you could buy that one right now for 0.85 ETH, and then you can make 10 reprints from that. And I know for his goes all the way down, so it's 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. So
Mm.
and I love this piece. I think it's super powerful.
Wait, so at the top there it says 10 prints, one generation. Would that mean that there's only going to be one generation of this piece?
No, and that's an update that we are fixing. Will is
Oh, okay.
in fact, I thought it was already in, but yeah, it needs to tell you how many potential generations are
Okay.
can be minted.
So that answers
Yeah,
my earlier question. So regardless of if a generation has been reached yet through the collection tree, it'll still
you need to know
show
how
that it
many
has
can be reprinted.
got it.
Yeah,
So sick. And I
yeah,
love
yeah.
this piece.
It's so awesome, right? This is a
Yeah.
really, and he was great at the event. at the launch event last week at NFT.NYC. It was
He's
really
a great
cool.
man. I got 2 pieces of his that he did for me right here.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I have a great picture of him and Ashita Banerjee and standing in front of the Nyla Hayes, which is
Wow.
projected on the wall, and I love that picture. Sent it to her dad.
I love that. Now, they're such a kind family and such great artists. I'm so grateful to have been befriended. It was so funny when you all were showing me the list of OG artists. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe some of these people are my friends. Like, it feels
I
weird
know,
to
right?
say.
Speaking of friends, we got Brandon Bro here. Also, I think an important
Wow.
piece.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. Oh
Beautiful
my
work.
God.
Yeah, and that's a real world. I keep telling, I don't know if anybody will ever do it, but I keep telling the IRL artists ought to basically do a thing where at a certain point in time, they say whoever has made and sold the most reprints gets the original artwork, the actual painting, it'd be kind of a cool
So that
thing to
was a
do.
question I was going to ask. So you could transfer ownership of the first one. You could send it to a public wallet, right? It's not like it's locked.
You can't transfer.
Okay.
You can sell for almost nothing
Okay. But you'd have to list
yourself,
a
right? Or
price.
somebody else. You have to list a price because the way the math works on the smart contract, if you didn't list a price, you'd be dividing by 0. You'd also be doing something that maybe royalty owners don't want, which is for you to be transferring around and cutting out royalty owner from their royalties, right? So you have the right to sell it for a very small amount of money, but this isn't the contract you want to use if you're trying to move things around without honoring the fact that the people that gave you the rights
Right.
want some money.
And you're transferring the royalty, right? Like if you transfer that piece, you're transferring that royalty funnel as well. It's not just you're transferring the
That's
entire
right.
system. That's unbelievable.
That's a really important point. So like Brandon would never want to sell the OG piece because that's how he gets his royalties.
Right.
And if I own
How
number
the
2,
hell did he
oh, he
make
sold. Yeah.
How did he make the texture of the shirts look so real is what I want to know. Like that is unbelievable.
He's a serious artist, right? We've
Yeah,
got
yes, he is.
actual artists on here, not, and then, and it's funny. I was just thinking about Matty Moe. Matty's piece, actually, he had some more controversial pieces, which I think he'd be welcome to put up. But only thing I worry about is copyright and having a DMCA, where I have to take something hold down. But Matty's work is, I consider him a really important artist and an artist, even though he would say, his whole thing is, if you look at Matty Moe's work, is to kind of, he's making a commentary about art and what constitutes art. So he has something to say, even though some of his pieces he would, he himself would probably argue are not, Monet's or something like that. But he's making a comment about the work, and that's what all artists do. I mean, the banana nailed to the wall or duct taped to a wall is not, a masterpiece of complicated technical skill, but it said something enough to somebody that it was sold for what, $100,000 or something. You know, so you have to be saying. I have a friend who was a photographer, and he went into photography, and I said, well, photographers are either wedding photographers or they have something to say, right? I tell that to my daughter. She paints these wonderful things. Like, what are you saying? If you look at Nyla's piece, right? I mean, she's a pretty young kid, but you can tell she has a point of view.
Mm-hmm.
She is saying something here about strength, and it's always recognizable. You know, in Nyla Hayes when you see it,
Yep.
right? So that is how you go from being somebody who paints to an artist, right? So I think that's even though probably Maddie and Latch, again, Latch's piece, is it's definitely saying something, right?
Latch's style is incredible. I love his work. I'm such a fan of so many of these artists. It's dangerous for me to look at it. It's like I don't have the money for this.
Well, you have this is 0.98 ETH, so it's not that much, especially right now. Fire
Yes,
sale on
that is one thing, folks. You are not going to get these prices from these artists forever. When ETH is low,
well, but at the same time, we've seen what happens with with overpriced NFTs.
mhm,
Um, guess what, right? And I was saying this last summer, and people were like, I hate to be right, but I love to be right." They were. It was like, what? Wait for the news articles about the $1 million NFT that sold for $10, and listen to the giant sucking sound that comes out of the market. Well, hate to say it, but I was right. Um, so you don't want to assume coin go up on these things. You want to buy them because they're important and because you think you can move more of the product,
agreed.
right? So you don't sell this piece, you make prints, and then hopefully you have a community, especially if you're an influencer, right? So this is really ideal for influencers to be able to pick up pieces, especially in these early days, and then say, hey, you want one of mine. Here's and you can go in and like for example, um, take the one that I've got right. So I'm gonna say, hey, I've just listed this Julie Pacino, and I'm gonna click here, and I'm gonna send that over to Twitter, right? And I'm gonna tell people about it. So if I'm an
Oh, and I love it.
influencer,
Only
I'm
gives
just
you two.
uh, she only authorized 2 reprints
I like that
per
scarcity.
print. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think it's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, I love how
Do
all the
you like
artists
do you
seem
like
to
the
have
way
done
we
it differently.
present this? Sorry, do you like the way we present this, Will? The system can generate up to 11,000, a little over 11,000 reprints, and that's pretty hard to put on screen, right? So the idea that what I've selected here, and this works on the mobile version too. If you this will fill your screen, and then you can flick left to go to the 2, 3, 4. If you go to 7, and then you can flick up and take you down to 7.1, etc. Right, and then 7.1, here's 7.1.1, 7.1.2. I click on 7.2. There's 7.2.1 and 2.2.
You know what I would love to
Does that
see in a future update? What I would love to see is if you could, so if it could structure either like a tree or like a pyramid from the top down, and it like if you don't click on it, it shapes like you can have different choices for like structure. So like if you wanted it to
is
be,
if you I mean imagine a tree with 10,000 branches at
yeah,
the bottom.
exactly. I'm trying to
There's the
think about how
problem.
you do that.
It works fine for the first generation and maybe even the second, right? With 10 times 10, so you have 100 of the second generation potentially, right? That already gets hard to paint on screen. In fact, our one of our lead designers, one of my favorite designers, Andrew Lee, and I worked for like 3 weeks trying to make a picture that would be like an icon for different presets. Because if you
Mm.
go into if you create a new NFT, I'll just this is not real. I'm not going to finish this, but
Oh, I love that. That was Richard Jacobs' piece.
yeah, but well, it's not actually the piece. It's the proto piece that was then rendered into the digitally unique piece that
Mm.
Richard owns, the OG. So that's just the proto piece. That's one of the important things about tree trunking is that under zero knowledge and cryptography, the piece has been rendered digitally unique, even from the originals, or say uh, if you used whatever you used, Photoshop or whatever, to do the piece. That piece is valueless. It can't prove itself. The OG piece has value because it has a digital fingerprint in it that can prove it is the progenitor of all the reprints.
Which is what
Which is
separates zero knowledge proof from, let's say, like a traditional ERC 721 NFT, which is
yeah,
just a digital sales receipt.
yeah. I mean, you can use a 721 for more than that, but
Yeah.
yeah, but this is a royalty bearing NFT.
Mm,
So the presets here, we've got one of one, right? So that's one generation, one print.
mm,
And we were trying to find icons that would allow you to see sort of visually, because Serena was very adamant about this, and correctly so, that artists are visual people, and there's a bunch of numbers on this screen. But numbers were invented for a reason. I think we finally had a realization. Numbers were invented because pictographs were insufficient at some point of scale, right? Especially when you get into exponentials. And this is an exponential, right? 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, inclusive. So being able to see here is, 11 reprints possible is actually easier to grok than trying to see a big 10,000 branch tree. Then we thought, well, we'll try to do it, in multimedia. We'll do a little like GIF, and we'll try to use time to deal with it. That didn't work. We could not find a way of making it clear. We have a prototype of one, but nobody liked it. Where it started, the OG was created, and then the multimedia came in, and like say 10 items, right? So it would go right, and then the next one was like a bar, and as the bar grew, the number in front of it grew. So like second generation would be 100, right? So as it grew to 100, it would kind of light up the
oh, that's cool. But it didn't make the test. People don't like it.
And then below that one was another bar that would grow to 1,000, another bar that would grow to 10,000. It would just, these, and you just see this above it, the lines kind of grow, going this way. And it was the only way I could think of to depict this propagation. Nobody got it. So we just, I had to tell Andrea that I'm like, I know you worked really hard on this. We're not putting it in.
If you guys could ever, if there's ever a way of seeing that, I would love to see it. Maybe one day down the road, there could be like, maybe there could be a bounty one day. Who can visualize a 10,000 reprint process the best? We want to see.
Well, I mean, you've got people like, here, I'll cancel out of here. The guy I ought to call about it is Robbie Trevino, right? Because he's from Lucasfilm.
Damn.
This guy, I mean, he's an important artist in. This is another piece I really like. He's an important artist. Yeah. And he did this for TreeTrunk. He's an important artist in, out of ILM, and I mean, his art is in movies. Look him up, Robbie Trevino.
That is unreal.
So again, 0.7 ETH for that piece. So now you've got a franchise on Robbie Trevino if you buy that. Let me see if I can find that piece of art. I know it's in here somewhere. Where did Andrea put that thing? What other pieces have you been looking at, Will?
Well, obviously, the Soul Curry pieces always catches my eye. I've gotten to get to know Delec better, and obviously, I love her conceptual tree and like the story behind it and the history of it. I got to know Richard Jacobs better as well, and I love his pieces as well, past, present, and future. I gotta say though, Threshold, and I have a piece. I think it's oh yeah,
this is the Delec, right?
Yes, exactly.
Delec is really, and she's an artist, and she's more of a she comes from the graphic design space in Silicon Valley, and this is her foray into more straight up NFT and art. And you said,
oh, go ahead.
Who was the other one you were looking at?
Well, I was looking at the past, present, and futures. The Richard Jacobs pieces.
The Jacobs pieces here. Yeah, so this is a triptych, right? Yeah, so this
unreal.
Is, and these are actual IRL paintings, right?
And then there was I think it's a latch piece, but I might be wrong. It might be a similar style, but the two faces. I mean, that's just unbelievable. I mean, there's so many amazing pieces. Like you could spend a whole day looking at these. If you scroll up a tiny bit, there's two faces facing each other a little bit higher. I think it's one more row up from where you are right now. One more row from there. Yeah, there they are.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
this is
love those.
yeah, awesome. This is
Who is
Blaine
that?
Thurier. Blaine Thurier. He's in the same. He's represented by the same folks as Mad Dog Jones and
Yeah,
Latch
that's
and so Blaine Latch and I think forgive me, I'm on camera here if I've got that wrong, but I think yeah, Blaine's in that team, and yeah, as Carmilla Samantri and Latch and Mad Dog Jones, I think are all part of the same crew in loosely defined. I don't want to say too much because I don't know, I'm not really privy to their operation, but I do know that they know each other. Um, and then you've got Diego Barrow.
yes, Diego Barrow.
Diego Barrow is really important work, right? And
So
he's and again, just like Annihilator, you always know when you're looking at a Diego Barrow.
one of the things I thought was really cool is we had a conversation. It was me, him, and Delek, and they had never met each other, but both of their pieces were like this different perspective of like a tree, and the reasons they did it were so different. But it was just fascinating having both those pieces side by side. Oh, I haven't seen this one yet. Damn.
Yeah, so it's a progression, right? So it's the same series, and you've got and he was interesting, right? You see that he only made one print that can make 10 reprints. That's it. That's
Mm.
all there is. And then the second one here, which is obviously eye opening. Again, one print, 10 reprints. That's it.
Wow.
So basically, if you have first gen, you have the only first gen, right? So I like how all the artists are doing different experimentations
Yeah.
for how they build out their trees. So and then he's got another one where he did 3. So again, 3 and 10, and then this is his last piece, I think, on this
Oh my
series.
God, I was about to ask you who did that. Oh man, he's so talented.
Yeah,
God
Rubik's
damn.
cubes. Yeah, I don't know how he did that one.
I don't either. It's so cool though. He was telling me he didn't use Photoshop for any of them either. Or maybe I'm
No, he's
misremembering.
got his
Maybe he
own
did.
got his own process. I don't think this is Photoshop. I could be wrong. I don't think it is. But he's a very fascinating character as well.
Which pieces do you have your eyes
Then
on?
of course, then there's Robert Mars, and now Robert Mars, his pieces in the real world sell for like 30 grand a pop
Oh
or
my
more.
God.
Um,
Wow.
yeah,
I
so
can see why.
these are real paintings. Um, so it'll be interesting to see because this is his first foray into NFT world, right? So his buyers are traditional collectors, like like the people you and I, people that I know well mutually. And then of course here's Sam Madhu. Sam has not listed any prints yet, so nobody can buy these yet. Somebody ought to get on Sam and tell him to tell her to put
Wow.
this on.
I like
Yeah,
how there's some themes
important
that
piece.
are similar. Like there aren't that many artists, but it's interesting to see like there's butterflies that are featured. There's obviously the tree is a pretty popular theme. I can wager why with that one. But it's I think it's a really interesting phenomenon that, these artists haven't even met each other, but they have these similar themes in their work. It's really cool.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. I quite like this one.
Yeah, that's
Um,
sick.
and again, if I was an influencer, I'd grab the first gens and then make my prints and then go and tell my followers that they should get those. And yeah, it'll be especially cool when they can join in the same. We're actually looking at 2 ways of doing the chat. One is Discord, of course, because that's duh. The other way, basically, our plan is to have every tree have its own. We will host its own Discord server.
Mm.
So the Discord is actually the artists and the community's Discord, but we're going to run it. We'll run it for them because somebody's got to run the server. That would be the one thing that wouldn't be sort of decentralized because somebody's got to run the Discord server.
Right.
However, there is some emerging stuff around being able to do messaging between wallets, where all I'd need is your public key to message you, which, if you think about it, is a pretty obvious thing that we all need at this point. I need to be able to message. In fact, it's right now, if somebody buys your print, you don't have any way of knowing that because we don't have your email address,
Hmm.
right? All we have is your, all that is out there on the public blockchain is your public key. So we have no way of messaging you to tell you that yours print sold. It's kind of a problem.
Hmm.
But the only other way around that is for us to know stuff about you, which we don't want to know, right? Because we're decentralized, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
So this is a tricky thing, and an obvious way to solve for that would be a chat client. Imagine Slack or Discord for wallets. If I was,
Mm.
not hey MetaMask buddies, put that feature in MetaMask. That would be a good one, right?
Is that something that is in the works? I don't know if we were able to talk about that, but is chat
Yeah, Andreas
capability
told me
something?
the other day. I'm not gonna make any claims, but Andreas told me the other day that he's got an idea about how to make that work.
Wow.
Um, no promises. Probably the
Yeah.
most easy thing for us to do is the Discord, but I don't mind. You know, that's the fun part about being kind of where I sit is that I can say crazy stuff, and the only people that can be mad at me is my team. So, that's uh, you could that's a dangerous privilege, but yeah. I try
The
to
right
I
industry
try
for
not to
it.
do that, but I don't think there's a problem me saying that we have ideas about this,
Yeah.
and Andreas, when he has an idea, he's pretty good at making it happen. So Andreas Freund, everybody, a remarkable human.
What was it like
Um,
working on the EIP 4910 together? Like, how is if you could put into like hours, how many hours went into creating the new standard?
um, Andreas can't have the basic architecture in a weekend
Mm.
because he'd been thinking about it for a long time on his own. Um, it took me kind of giving him a context that, the tree trunk context, and he was like, and he put it all together from there. Um, and then working together was great. I think it's as important as that was Ira Rothkin's input into the legal side of things. And the three of us are pretty ADHD types. So I was saying to Ira one day, I'm like, the three of us, we're worth something. We are not efficient. So we'll get on calls for like a really long time and just talk. And that's great. Nobody pays us to be linear anyway. I mean,
Mhm.
that's not the job. But what it means is we got to pack the bench with a lot of linear thinking, operationally or oriented people that can get things done. We can get things done. I mean, we're not incapable of getting things done. We do a pretty good job of it. But I think our true talent, all three of us, is exploration.
Mm. Love that. I heard the other day that that's what the human mind is for. It's not for decisions, it's for exploration.
Oh, it's a multi-purpose machine, so you can use it for
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff. Um, uh,
Yeah,
it
you'd
just
hope that people
happens
are
that
making decisions.
yeah, but some of us are more like that dog in Up, and so,
Yeah.
and there is, if you can harness that, you can, you get distracted. I had a friend, actually, he worked for me, genius, just like Andreas. He's brilliant, brilliant guy, and he had had a motorcycle accident and he couldn't hear at all out of one ear, and he had an inner ear problem on the other. And they had just the years that we were working together, they'd come up with a way to restore his hearing, and he wouldn't do the procedure. And I said, dude, you work for IBM, we'll pay for the procedure. I mean, your insurance should be fine. And he's like, I don't want it. I said, why? He said, because most of my best ideas come from me misunderstanding what people are saying to me.
Mm.
He's so brilliant. He was able to, his brain had gotten so that he could fill in the blanks of what he wasn't hearing, but sometimes he would mishear. And he said, this may be perverse, but maybe he got the procedure later. But I liked, I've never forgotten what he said. That misunderstanding people led to some of his best breakthroughs. So that's interesting.
They say our weaknesses are also our greatest strengths. Sometimes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I love that we have
Especially,
Crypto Jeweler to entertain us while we were having this conversation. It's such a wild piece.
isn't it? I really like this, and obviously made it, especially for TreeTrunk, for his TreeTrunk line. And yeah, he's been selling, as you can see already. He's got, people have been buying his pieces up.
They got to. And for anyone who's wondering, that is his real hand. That is Crypto Jeweler's real hand in the photo.
I didn't know that, actually. I was wondering about that because obviously it looks kind of 3D-ized.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't know what else we covered, but there's some beautiful pieces in here already. And now probably one of the most disappointing things was the decision got made really last minute not to just open up the ability for anybody to, hit that create new button.
What was the decision? What was the final consensus that led to that decision?
A lot of reasons, but it ultimately we wanted to make sure that the appropriate filters were in place and that we weren't putting anybody at risk. And we really don't like the idea of counterfeiters and other people like that, or people stealing other people's work, getting on the site.
Right.
But we want it to be inclusive and free and open. So yeah, the lever, and that was disappointing. So we have a sign up sheet for any artist. Just hit this button right here, and
I was wondering because I was looking for it on the Twitter earlier. So you go to TreeTrunk.io.
If you hit submit art,
perfect.
Yeah, and then you can see this, and then you just fill it out, and then we will. I've got a commitment from the team to make sure that you get that as fast as possible.
I love it.
Oh, by the way, here's this thing that I was telling you about. All right, so this was our best effort.
I love it.
Right. Yeah, but nobody liked it. Nobody liked it, and nobody really made no sense to anybody. But it was the best so you could see, right? This is running a little too fast. So let me.
You know what though? It's a good example though. If somebody's not understanding, this is a great way of explaining it to them though. Because you get to now understand this is how the generations work. Because my first understanding of it, I did not get the fourth generations. I thought you were referring to like a thought ethos, like the fourth generation, those guys really understood it. And then I realized, oh no, it's 4 generations of Prince.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm glad Andrea, if you're listening, Will likes it. That's the only thing that's important to me. No. So yeah, that was our best effort at. This is obviously a prototype, but yeah, you can see the idea is that it's as things get smaller, you just have to put these lines that are going to the right in there. But
this is a good YouTube explainer. If anybody out there is wondering how the generations work, now you know. It's right there, easy and accessible. John, are you gonna be able to join us on the Twitter show today?
I might.
We got a good conversation.
Who's going to be on?
We got a great conversation with an artist. I want to make sure I get his artist name correct. I'm pretty sure his Twitter handle is different than his name, and I'm going to have to confront him about this today. But it's DMG Crypto Boy, and he's an artist in the space, really kind person, interdisciplinary, fine artist. And usually our activism component is on Tuesdays, but I'm a big fan of his as a person, as an artist. So I was like, you know what, we'll make an exception. We'll do an AMA today.
So, Will, I just realized I'm on national television when I'm saying this, but anybody that comes on the show, where you vetted the art, where we can put them on the allowed list if they you just get if they get us there, or they fill out that form beforehand. You signal us, we can probably get them on the allowed list. Um, and I've changed it from, I've been saying whitelist, but I've been educated properly now, and we'll call it the allowed list. I
Love
think it's
that.
good. So the allowed list is uh, uh, pretty easy for us to throw somebody on. So if they want to get on the allowed list and list their piece before the show, no problem. You can do that
Cool.
every night.
Yeah, I know they have a drop coming up soon, so I'll make sure that I'll let them know as soon as we get off. I love that, and I would love to have a live drop. I mean, that'd be crazy.
Yeah,
Definitely.
you could do that every night. Every night that you have an artist on, if the artist wants to talk about their work and say, "Hey, it's on TreeTrunk right now," you could do
I've
that.
been trying to source one artist specifically for that reason, just so that they know what's going on. You know what I found fascinating though? A lot of music NFT artists have been like, "When are we gonna get able to be on Tree Trunk? Like, when are we gonna be able to get our music on?" I was like, "Oh, well."
Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, I think that's the file formats are that's one of the first things we are working on is more file formats. Everybody wants MP4.
Mhm.
That's definitely high on the list.
I
Um,
mean, I'm part of that list.
everybody wants, yeah. A lot of people want MP4. Let me see what else is on our list of things. Um, some
Oh, John, this is one of my
images.
favorite pieces too. I'll share this one with you. This is one of my favorite.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's not on. You didn't put that one up. So that one's only was on the
He
beta.
decided to keep that for
Should probably
himself.
come. Yes. So yeah. So like we don't have a like icon for people to like prints that aren't whether they buy them or not. There's no auction. There's no ability to bid. There's only the ability to sell. So people want that. That's a pretty big change. That will take some effort. Um, uh, let's
By
see.
the way, this is Vimal Chandran,
Let's see
everyone.
some
If
of the
you were
things.
wondering who the artist is,
Yeah.
Vimal he's not just an incredible artist, he's also a wonderful human being. We got to speak with him on the show. So if you want to watch that interview, it's highly recommend. But that's one of the things that's great too, John. I'm sure you can relate is like the quality of character of these artists beyond just the quality of their work. It's like, all right, like you guys are great people. I'm a big fan of artists with character.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. Um, let's see. Most different filters, right? Like most active,
Mm.
most popular. Things like that. Being able to get to spot things that you like, being able to create your own like mini gallery in the marketplace, and then probably most importantly that we didn't get out for the beta or for the GA that's coming quickly is the ability to um, so if you go to I'll put this up again. uh, yeah, if you go into oops. Yeah. So if you go into the marketplace or you go into my NFTs, going to Pacino's piece here, you see this says view on IPFS.
Mm.
Actually, I'll share my desktop just so you can see what's
Did I
going
was that an
on.
Arabella piece in your collection as well?
Yeah, I got a Serena, which I like. Um, yeah, so you click on view IP on IPFS, and that brings up the actual piece.
Mm.
So this is not on our servers, on IPFS, on the decentralized web, and you can go back and see it there too. You can,
I was gonna ask if you
uh,
all were gonna have dark mode. I didn't. Is that in the works?
well, sort of. Well, that's close as we got right now.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the updates, it's a small one, is that there'll be a background color for each generation. So the OG will be, default to black. The first generations will be default to a kind of a translucent gold color, silver, and etc.
Nice.
But here's all the data, here's the license, everything's baked into this asset. So now you have much more of a real asset than just some piece of metadata on IPFS and
Right.
a link to a file somewhere. This is a real asset. But the next update will have a button up here that says embed, and then it'll also say connect to wallet, buy, sell. So if you own it, your wallet, owns this piece, you'll be able to buy and sell it, or collect your royalties without going to our marketplace at all.
Wow.
Then you can embed this work and then buy and sell it directly from any website, anywhere on the web,
Unreal.
right? So anywhere that'll accept an embed code, like a YouTube video
Mhm.
would, right? So only the difference is that YouTube video is still calling YouTube to serve that video. Here, you are free of TreeTrunk or any other marketplace. You can do pretty much anything you need to do directly from any website. So if you've got a gallery or you have a partner who has a gallery or some other kind of venue, or even an IRL installation, where you have to, you could put like QR codes so people could buy it from their mobile phones, but you don't have to leave the environment you're in
Right.
and go over to like OpenSea or even our marketplace to buy it. You can stay right there and keep those users in your property.
Unreal. And the fact that the license information is there too that's big. Especially
Yeah,
because right now people are having that conversation actively in NFTs. What are the
right.
rights that you have as a collector? And I think it's really cool that you won't have to ask that question anymore, at least if you're using EIP 4910. Wild.
Correct. Wild, right?
Yeah.
So
How does it feel to finally
I
have
guess
it be up and functioning?
sleepy. It feels sleepy. And what I mean by that is, I mean, I'm sleepy
Yeah.
because because we didn't get a lot of sleep, and now it's up and it works, and people are going to enjoy it and use it or not. But now it's kind of like after, I remember, when I was in the theater years and years and years ago, um, a playwright would say this, and sometimes we'd say this as directors and actors and stuff, say, once the work is in the can or once the work is out, it's no longer ours. It's yours, right? It's the
Mhm.
audiences or the actors, right? So if you write a script, it's no longer your script that you wrote. It's the actors, right? And so you give it to. So now it's really this in this way. It is what people will make it in multiple ways. I mean, it's what developers will take the 4910 and do with it. Um, it's what artists and their communities do with the structure that we've already built.
Mhm.
Um, but it's no longer ours, right? It's yours,
Mm. It's
um,
art.
and in that way, yeah. So it is now in the domain of the users, and they will either find ways to use it profitably or they won't. But at this point, it's good to be able to let go.
Mm.
Um, and in fact, I think it's a hard thing. You let it go. If you don't let it go, you become obsessive about it. And so now I'm at peace. I'm like, I'm very Jedi like right now. I'm like, it's not mine anymore. I've done my job. I've got it out of the uh, you know out of the birthing canal. Um, you know,
Well, I love it, man.
so
And we're all super grateful in the NFT community. Those of us that are aware already, and for those who will be, any tool that empowers artists more. That's what it's all about, man. So I'm super excited, and we got a great show planned for you all tonight. So make sure you come by. We'll see you all on Tree Trunk Show next week, same time as always, and we'll see you all on Twitter at 4:20 p.m. Pacific time. And thank you all for watching.
everybody.